If we are being realistic, almost every superhero has technically committed crimes as vigilantes, either beating people up unlawfully or unlawfully detaining people. But some, or a lot, have done even worse. I'm Adam Andrews with Top 10 Nerd, and this is the top 10 Marvel superheroes who should be in prison. Number 10. Captain America. Captain America is the Sentinel of Liberty, and while he was initially a wartime tool of America, a soldier, he is a hero for the whole Earth. But his belief in liberty and freedom and what he thinks is right has been taken too far on multiple occasions, taking things into his own hands when that wasn't his place, no matter if you think he was right or not. A big one would have to be Civil War, where he literally went against his own government in support of his ideals that didn't really matter to him when the mutant allies he had faced registration. He even told a captured mutant that, quote unquote, "we don't make the laws, we just enforce them." Nice dude. Also, while it was eventually retconned, he was revealed to be an agent of Hydra and helped them take over the country while committing atrocities, including hiring Deadpool to take out Phil Coulson. Hydra Cap was initially going to be the legit Cap before fans got mad about it, so I'm gonna count it here, sorry. There is also the whole Avengers vs. X-Men thing with Hope Summers, or when Captain America, on live television, takes out Faisal Al-Tariq, then unmasks himself and tells the world that he wasn't ordered to do this, he wanted to do this. He's been addicted to a certain Breaking Bad related substance, and he's used this shield as a guillotine on more than a few occasions. Number 9. Bucky Barnes. Bouncing off Cap, how about one of his closest friends who became a literal assassin? Both versions of the Winter Soldier, the comic version and the MCU version played by Sebastian Stan, should both be in prison. Now sure, he was technically a brainwashed Soviet assassin and spy, but he still slew an incalculable number of people as such, and even after he wasn't exactly clean. He's taken out Wolverine's wife Itsu Akihiro. In the MCU, he took out Tony Stark's parents plus the relatives of the people he was visiting in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. It's even suggested that Comic Bucky was involved in a certain president's demise on November 22nd, 1963. He even went to take out some followers of the Red Skull, in itself a crime, even if they're bad guys, but he instead steals a device they had and uses it in a terror attack in the Out of Time comic. Number 8. Black Widow. Speaking of Soviet assassins and spies, Winter Soldier literally helped train more assassins in the Soviet Union's Red Room, one of which being Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. She has been shown taking out multiple people in government hits. One very cruel dispatching was actually of one of the only friends she had in the Red Room. In issue number 20, Black Widow, we learn that as a child in the Red Room she made a friend named Marina that she would occasionally escape with to watch ballet dancers at a nearby school. Now years later, after they're grown, they're both sent to Cuba on a mission that has Marina being embedded in a comfortable domestic life with a boyfriend and a cat. Natasha is ordered to eliminate Marina because she's grown too attached to her double life as a seemingly normal Cuban resident. She does it, and also for absolutely no reason she decides to shoot Marina's cat as well. She was initially a Soviet spy when she was first introduced, and although she has had a change of heart, one, that doesn't make her past crimes okay at all, but more importantly, two, we have seen her go back to the Red Room and work with them again, so Number 7. Hawkeye. Bouncing off of Black Widow, why not talk about Hawkeye? The two are close, and it has a large amount to do with their dark pasts. Look, the dude uses a bow and arrow, and no matter how many cool little trick arrows he uses, they ain't the main ones that he uses. In the MCU, his very first appearance was him about to try and take down Thor with an arrow. He had no reservations about it either, like none, not even a little bit. Not to mention, he became Ronin, where he was slaying criminals with a sword, and it was more seen as sad for him to be doing it than for it to be totally against the law. Hawkeye himself has taken out multiple Kree during their invasion of Earth, as well as the Skrull. Sure, they're aliens, but they got lives. They're living. He attempts to slay Scarlet Witch during the House of M story arc, and is the Avengers' go-to Black Ops guy. Oh, and let's not forget Hawkeye shot Bruce Banner in the heart and brain with 2 arrows during Civil War number 2 in order to prevent him from becoming the Hulk again. Yeah, Bruce asked him to do it, still a crime, and it just kind of proves everything I'm saying, as that's not the kind of thing you ask someone to do unless they've done it so much they're just kind of desensitized to it. Number 6. Spider-Man. When Norman Osborn began exploiting the Eastern European nation of Symkaria, Spidey saw fit to insert himself into the foreign independent nation's politics via corporate espionage to undermine a democratically elected leader. Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. severed all ties with Spidey after this, as it almost started a war, and they severed ties with Parker Industries as well. When Detective Stan Carter threatened the life of his ex Betty Brant while also pretending to be Peter's friend, Peter started beating on the dude so harshly that Daredevil had to step in, only for Spider-Man to actually punch him out of a window. So that's cool. Those are crimes on their own, but just like pretty much everyone else on this list, Spidey is a killer. Spidey has at least 18 confirmed delifings and 3 more attempted ones under his belt. Some of these were accidents, sure, but since when has that ever stood up in court, bro? Number 5. Wolverine. Do I really need to go through this one? No, I don't. But I will. For starters, his mutations are in the form of a crazy healing factor to survive a hell of a lot of punishment and survive an extremely long time. Not a crime, but it allows him to get away with a lot of the things he does with the secondary mutation, his 6 forearm length bone claws that come protruding out of his fists. One of the very first things that happened after discovering his abilities was the accidental death of his parents by him. Running from the law and his dark past is sort of built into his character, even before he was literally turned into a weapon. His form of rage-fueled combat means he's holding nothing back, and I'd even say a majority of his kill count weren't even ordered. He just chose it as the better option. Famously, he even simply wanted to take out Hank Pym in the Age of Ultron event, something almost all of the other heroes were seriously against. He even took the life of Dakin, his own son. Yeah, he was a bad dude, but Wolverine already knows how bad because he himself was also a not-so-great dude for a long time. Number 4. The Hulk. I think we all know that Hulk should be on this list. The amount of innocent people that have been obliterated by his rampages alone should be enough. S.H.I.E.L.D. stated that he's killed 26 people and a dog, quote unquote, this time. Even if Amadeus Cho says he has never taken a life, it's absolutely not true because he has been shown doing it non-accidentally. Human turned monster, the crawling unknown was impaled by the Hulk with a metal spike, then hit by lightning. Bruce Banner apparently accidentally took out his father, and Bruce Banner shot General Ross in the head. His confirmed kills, not including his rampages, include 126 individual people scattered over multiple realities. So yes, that is including his alternate realities, but that just goes to show the danger he poses. Both Banner and Hulk should absolutely be in prison, but a prison won't hold him. He should be in a super prison, surrounded by another super prison, on another planet, in a pocket dimension, or even a pocket dimension inside a pocket dimension, and even then, he would probably find a way back. The Hulk persona has been banished to hell in alternate worlds and still comes back, so we're not winning here, but still, he should be there. Number 3, Star-Lord. I think a lot of us kind of forget that Star-Lord is a criminal. Yeah, because he's awesome, but gosh, I mean, when he was a kid, he shot the first 2 aliens he ever encountered, which is like a space crime. Right? To get into space, he literally stole a Kree ship from the NASA Ops launch facility in California. Then after being found by Yondu and his crew, he literally becomes part of a space pirate crew. Look, I know we romanticize pirates, but they are not okay people. Those 2 things aside, according to the Nova Corps, the space police, he is responsible for the deaths of over 35,000 sentient beings. Some of these are the result of his participation in various galactic conflicts, and some are just personal, but the majority of them are from when Quill and his ship destroyed a Kree colony full of inhabitants, all to defeat a former Herald of Galactus. 35,000 people. He shouldn't be allowed to see the light of day, that's all I'm saying. Number 2, Hank Pym. Hank Pym is one of the first Avengers, and he has definitely been a large, important part of the Marvel Universe, but that was mainly just in the beginning. You see, Hank has done some pretty bad stuff over his time. His future wife Janet Van Dyne only became his wife after the hero had a substance-induced schizophrenic episode where he became an actual villain, Yellow Jacket, knocked out his love interest, kidnapped her, forced himself on her, and then she, for some reason I'll never fully understand, agreed to marry him? But it doesn't stop there. In a very controversial move, Hank Pym even slapped his wife, an act that got him booted out of the Avengers in the Avengers Volume 1, issue number 213. The slap itself came about because Hank was trying to build a robot he could defeat to take on the Avengers as a way of clearing himself of another bad thing he'd done that was going to have him court-martialed by the Avengers. That doesn't really make sense. Speaking Speaking of evil robots, he literally created Ultron in the comics and was brainwashed by the robot to attack the Avengers. There's more, but what you need to know is that this former Avenger has many untreated mental disorders. While that isn't a crime and he should get help, he doesn't, and that's what has caused him to do all the things that should have him in a cell. Number 1. Punisher. Punisher is honestly probably one of the more realistic depictions of a vigilante in Marvel Comics. He is ultimately a regular, although extremely capable guy who takes the law into his own hands in incredibly brutal ways. His motivation, the passing away of his family thanks to a mob hit, is understandable to a degree, but his decision to literally take the life of any criminal he comes into contact with is a bit lower on the understandability front. With an arsenal of weaponry, skills, and tactics, he was initially a Spider-Man villain in his first appearance, getting himself locked up at Rikers, but even in prison he targets other prisoners, even though his ideology is pretty hypocritical now, and is for some reason still eventually released? Over the years, he has gone back to prison numerous times. In the story The Cell, he intentionally allows himself to be arrested so he can get to the 5 mafia members responsible for his family's demise. He has been apprehended by the Avengers for terror activities. In the near future story Punisher the End, he even sits in prison as a nuclear war destroys the world. In Punisher Warzone, he is taken on by the Avengers who try to put an end to his murderous war on crime, I guess having just looked past it before. But being accused of taking out police officers is what made it go too far for them for some reason. He went to prison for this one too, and he should probably have just stayed there, but alas, he did not. There we have it. I know a few of these are gonna rile a few of you up, so let me know down below why I'm wrong, or who should be on this list instead. Don't forget to like and subscribe here at Top 10 Nerd. I've been your host, Adam Andrews. Check me out on Instagram, and until next time, peace out, nerds.